are going to make a start. Let's get moving, people. So I'm going to come on over to my mat. I'm going to remove my glasses. I only need those when I'm close up. Okay. So we are going to start in a standing position. And we're just going to start off with settling in, bringing your awareness into your body. Notice how you're standing through your feet. Maybe lift your toes, spread them out, bring them back down onto your mat. Soften the backs of your knees, kind of soften your shoulders, soften your jaw, kind of just let everything sink through the feet, but at the same time, a sense of bringing energy up through the spine. And we're going to just begin with some shoulder circles. So I just want you to draw your shoulders up to your ears and circle around. And maybe you can match this movement with a breath pattern. I like to do an inhale as I'm bringing my shoulders to my ears, and an exhale as I circle around to the back. So we're just working with a sense of ease here, just going where you can. We're not making the movement really big. You just want to feel that you can sense your shoulder blades gliding on the back. Keep your elbows and your hands soft. And just enjoy feeling open across the collarbones as those arms circle around. Few more breaths here. And then we're going to take the arms up and out to the sides. Let's just do that movement a few times. Reaching out to the T, just in line with the shoulders. Keep yourself nice and soft through your knees. Just make any adjustments that you feel necessary. Using the breath, that sense of expansion on the inhale. And then a slight tightening around your center, pulling the navel to the spine on your exhale. We're going to pause with the arms here. So I want you to think about turning the palm of one hand up and keeping the other one down. Reverse that, and I want you to try and sense that movement coming from the top of your arm. So it's rather than the wrist, it's the top of your arm bone turning in your shoulder. And just keep that going. You could move at a slower pace than me, or you might want to go quicker. It's all good. Warming up into that shoulder area. And then we're going to add a little extra onto this. So I want you to bring your attention to your rib cage and see if you can hold one palm up. The side of the palm that is up, you're going to glide your rib cage across. And then you're going to come back to the center. Change the hands. The other palm is now up. Can you glide your ribs towards that hand? So the glide of the ribs is just side to side. If you think about your shoulders, you just want to keep those level. So I'm just going to keep that going. Stay with me. Maybe add a little look with your head towards your extended hand if that feels like a good thing for your neck. But see if you can just work with that gliding action of the rib cage. So lower body pretty much stays still, and the action is coming from the waist and above. And we've still got that rotation happening of the arm in the shoulder. If your arms are getting tired with that, you can just maybe bring the hands onto the sides of the rib cage and just sense the movement that's happening there as we take it one way and then the other. Keep the breath flowing. I'm going to come back into the arm movement because I kind of really like this feeling. Again, mobilizing through the shoulders and the rib cage and the torso. And we're going to go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Restack, bring the weight of the shoulders back over the hips. Bring the arms down. I'm going to turn sides for the purpose of the video, but you can stay where you are. We're going to set up for some roll down. So be at the top end of your mat with some space in front. Again, soft knees as we go into that curl of the spine, leading it from the crown of the head. A sense of going up and over. Try not to lock the legs out here. There should be some weight in the toes. Take a breath, hug the abdominals in, let's rebuild. Rolling on up, coming up tall, reaching from the crown of the head at the top. Breath in and then again, just that sense of hugging the abdominals in, getting longer through the upper back as it curls up and over, long through the backs of the legs. Arms are just loose and relaxed. And exhale. Pull everything up in reverse without locking the knees out. You want to really sense the abdominals involved in this movement. And the last one here, chin to chest, rounding the shoulders, the mid-back. See if you can keep those arms loose. They're just dangling here. Now, if you need to soften the knees more so your hands can come to the mat, go for it. We're going to walk the hands out into our upstretched position here, just working on flattening through the back. Pulling your heels down towards the mat. Don't worry if they don't touch, as long as you're feeling the stretch here through the back and the hamstrings and down into the heels, all great. Let's have a little walk in place. So we're going to soften one knee, press the heel away on the other leg, and then change that. Really push up through the toes. Work the feet and press that heel away, lengthening out. Keep the energy reaching up and back into the pelvis. I'm going to pick up my pace, just because I like to feel my legs really working here. Feels good to move quickly sometimes as well as slowly. And you go with whatever feels right for you in this position. And let's count this out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Can we press both heels back again to find that upstretched position? Keep working on it, keep lifting the hips, maybe dropping the sternum a little bit more towards the floor if you can. And then we are going to walk the feet in towards the hands, come towards the front end of your mat, sit yourself down. Okay, let's move into some movement for the lower back and pelvis. Hands can be behind the thighs to begin with. So lift yourself up, get active with the arms here, long, tall spine. Exhale, rather than shoulders, think lower back. You're trying to pull your navel in towards your spine. You're just rocking over those sits bones. We're pulling in, engage the abdominals, and then inhale, come up. So we'll just start with the pelvic tilt to begin with. Getting focused into that lower back area, the engagement of the abdominals to support that shape of the spine. Now you can just keep it going here, especially if this is a new movement to you. Work on trying to not round through the shoulders. It's all just through this lower back area, pulling in through the front. If you're familiar with this movement, you might like to take it with me into a half roll back where we're just like over the tailbone, but still in that C curve, and then bringing it tall at the top. So you've got a couple of options there. We're looking for connection with our center, using our core to pull us up, and then inhale, come tall. Exhale, top the pelvis to initiate the movement, and then lean into it. And come in tall. Scoop the belly, roll it back. We can add on to this. So as we come tall at the top, let's sweep the arms up and around. Nice big circle. We bring it forward to find that little tuck of the pelvis. Then we lean back into it. You might notice that your feet lift a little bit if you're going into that roll back position. Do your best to keep them in contact with your mat. Or just reduce your range. You don't want to feel unstable. Exhale, tuck. Let's roll it back. Exhale, pull up, work the center. Inhale, up and around. Enjoy the stretch for the arms and the back. Exhale, rolling back. And then exhale, bring it up. Last circle here if you've been adding it. We're going to finish in a roll down all the way. So you can use the hands at the back of the thigh to assist with this. Or if you're more comfortable here, just take it down. Once you're all the way down, we're going to bring the arms down by our sides. Get comfortable. I'm just making sure I'm still in shot. I am. Okay, we're moving into our pelvic part. So just make sure you've got your lower back feeling like it's got a little bit of space at the mat, that the shoulders are relaxed, feet in parallel, knees lining up with your sitting bones. So use that again, that tucking of the pelvis like we just did to initiate the movement, and then start to peel your spine up. See if you can keep the knees aligned throughout the movement, and then exhale, we're going to roll it down. Take your time with these. We want to look for maximum articulation of the spine, so generally going slower helps with that. And releasing the top of the pelvis at the bottom. You'll feel your tailbone connect with the mat, and then it peels away. You're tightening your center, you're peeling the spine up, resting on the shoulders, and exhale. Bring it down. Get a sense of softening across your throat and your chest, particularly as you're coming down. Keep your eye line on that diagonal. Try not to be here with the chin jutting up. And keep the back of your neck long. Use the arms a little, press into the mat, so sit with the lift, get active there. Now I'm going to hold it at the top. Keep reaching out of the knees. Keep tucked under through the pelvis. Keep pressing through the heels. Start to bring your awareness into your glutes and your hamstrings, the back of your thighs. Can we hold for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, without articulating the spine, you're just going to bring the hips straight down to the mat, a light touch, and then we lift back up. So now more of a bridging action here as we open across the front of the hips and then dip down towards the mat. So keep that going. If this is new to you, you might need to rest the pelvis down fully. But if this is a familiar movement, challenge yourself. Maybe you don't even touch the mat at all. You're just in a hover and then you press back up. And we're just going to do a few more of these, really sensing the back of the body working here. Keep that eye line on the diagonal. Let's go for 3, and 2, and 1. And then lower the pelvis all the way down. And again, just shift around, get comfortable here. You want to be in that neutral where you've got the natural curve of your lower back present. So we're moving into an exercise now called knee fold. Arms are just relaxed by your side. You can have palms up if that kind of feels nice and relaxed and open across the collarbones. We're going to start on one knee, and you're going to let that leg turn out in the hip socket to the side. So just check it out, just take it out, go as far as you can go. What happens with the opposite side of your pelvis? Did it lift off the mat like mine does if I go as far as I want to go? Okay, can you rein that in and start to think about keeping it even with the pelvis? So let's just stay on that one leg so you can really explore that. Sometimes it's nice to have your fingertips on the front part of your hips so you can feel what happens with the pelvis. But you want to get a real sense of how the leg bone is turning out in the socket, and then it's turning back in. Also, if you've got your hands here, just come in a little bit from your hip bones, and when you're drawing the leg back in, if you're using that gentle tightening or belly button to spine cue, you might actually feel the area tightening. You can feel it underneath the skin. As you're drawing in, is that engagement of the core. So inhale to open out is the suggested breath pattern, and exhale to come in. Don't worry if you're not sensing this tightening sensation. If this is a new movement, it can take time to feel that. Just keep exploring, keeping the pelvis square at the movement. We're going to go over to the other side now. So line the knees up, and then when you're ready, start to take it out. It's a controlled movement. The leg's not just swinging out and in. You want to feel like you gently lower that leg down rather than just letting it drop with gravity. Same way back in. Keep working with that. But just pivots with the movement of the leg. And exhale. Inhale. Nice warming up, our preparatory exercise for the hips, as well as allowing us to focus on the stability of our pelvis. And let's maybe do one more on that side. That feels even. I'm a terrible counter, guys. I'm so sorry if that isn't even for those of you who love counting. It feels like the same amount to me. Okay, we're going to pause here in our neutral position. I'm going to add a bit of an extension onto that exercise. So we're going to start off with bringing our leg up into an extended position. Now here you can keep the other leg in a bent position, or you can lengthen that leg out. If it's new to you, this movement, stay here. Flex the foot, and we're just going to start off with sliding the hands up the back of the leg to get more stretch. Now I'm fortunate, I've got pretty stretchy hamstring. For some people, this might be here, and that is all good. Keep the knee bent. You might have to take the flexed foot position out to really feel that you can go with that. So however it looks, as long as you're feeling some stretch into the back of the leg, all good. Another thing to think about with this stretch, if you're pretty familiar with it, is that as you're pushing through the heel and pulling your leg towards you, think of reaching out in opposition by sending the tailbone and the back of your glute down into the mat. So you're really reaching out one way and then pressing through the heel the other way. Keep the breath coming. Okay, so wherever the position of your leg is at, you're going to just back off a little and then bring the hands out to a T. Let's circle through our leg. So you're going to take it out, around and up. So you're going out to the side of the body, away from that center line. And I want you to try and think about the circle coming right from the top of the thigh. Now, if you've got quite a bent knee and you feel quite tight in the hamstrings, or this movement is new to you, you might support your leg with your hand. Wherever you are at with this, I want you to again think about, can you keep the pelvis fairly stable and quiet while the legs circle? Let's pause here, and we're going to go the opposite direction, taking it across the body and coming back to that neutral. So you're just going to one side with your circle in each direction. Suggestion for the breath is an inhale for one and an exhale for another. And we're going to pause there. Here, let's hug the knee into the chest. Enjoy that stretch. If you're working with a bent leg here, just extend that away. And just allow that knee to drop in towards you. Press into the shin. Keep the opposite hand to knee on the shin or the knee. And just draw that leg gently across your body. If it feels good to turn the head with this, you're looking to your outstretched hand for a spine rotation stretch. And breathe into it. See if you can drop into that shoulder on the back of the mat. It's just a gentle press into that knee, no force in any of these stretches. Beautiful. Let's bring it back to the center, setting up for the other side. So either bent knee or extended leg. We're starting off with that hamstring stretch. So it might be here, 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 here. Just work with wherever you're at. Keep the breath flowing. Again, think about that. Push through the heel if you can. And that depression of the tailbone and pelvis down into the mat. You can move the hands around, but you don't want to be pulling on the back of the knee, into the thigh. If you're super stretchy, you're probably up here. So one more breath holding this stretch. And then let's just back off a little. Bring the arms out to a T so we're a little bit more stable. Think about squaring the pelvis. We're going away from the center line of the body for our first direction. You can add pace to this movement. So I'm going a little bit faster this time just to demonstrate. Obviously, the faster you go, the more control you need. So in the beginning, really good to go slow with these, slow and slow. And then it's pause at the top, crossing the centre line of the body, opposite direction, over and around. Again, keep thinking about that opposite hip bone. Is it rolling around? I sense that mine is a little bit, so I'm just giving myself a reminder here to try and keep it still with the movement. And we'll just do one more. And again, let's bend that knee, hug it in towards the chest. If you've got the bent leg, extend it away. Soften the shoulders, let that knee sink in towards you. And then let's rotate over, opposite hand to knee. And again, turning the head if that feels good for your neck. And just with each exhale, allow yourself to soften into the mat. Get heavy across the back of the shoulder, or the part of the pelvis that is resting. One more breath here, folks. And then we are going to turn to lay it on our side, hopefully facing me. Okay, so we're going to set up for side lift. So one long line with the body, stack the hips, see if you can have your knees facing front with this, front hand for support, underneath arm for your head to rest on, and then we're going to really energize the legs. Reach out into the toes and just hover off the mat. Tilt the pelvis so the legs come a little higher, and then lower it down. So you can lower down all the way, or if you're used to this exercise, just keep it in a hover and you're adding that lift and lower. Lift and lower. Use your exhale as you tilt the pelvis to lift. Sensing how the shape of the waist changes with the movement. You might feel the underneath side of your waist flatten out a little bit when the legs lift. Looking good. I'm sensing you're all looking good. I've not got the cameras switched on for you guys, but I'm going to go with that thought. Okay, last one here. Let the feet fully rest down. You're going to bend your underneath leg to a 90-degree angle. So your shin just roughly in line with the edge of your mat. And then you're going to prop yourself up on your elbow. Get comfortable. Actually, I just said on my elbow, let's come here. I want you to be work a little bit harder. So think about this underneath side of your rib cage. If you kind of just slump down through that shoulder, kind of sinking down here, I want you to lift. So we're really active here. Try and keep that throughout. But it's just going to stay at the height of your hip. You've got this front hand as well for a little bit of support and stability. Just start to swing the leg forward and back. Don't think too much yet about stabilising the pelvis. Just get used to that movement if this is new. And then I'm just going to give you a few extras as we keep going. So you're in control of the range here. Once you've checked out what's available to you, maybe start to now think about how far you can go forward and back with this leg without letting the pelvis rock and roll around too much. Did you lose that connection on the underneath side? Did you start to sink into that shoulder? I think I did. So there you go. You've got to lift and really think about it. So I'm going to give you a little bit extra here for those who are familiar. We're flexing the foot forward, pointing the toes as we go back. Flex, point, flex, point. We're just going to do two more. And reach. And then let's bring it in. Bring it down, and then we are going to take it to the other side. It's amazing how quick this half an hour goes because I've got way more planned, but that'll have to go into our next class. Okay, so let's reach it out long, stack the knees, stack the pelvis, and start to go into your lift and lower. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, keep reaching out of the toes. Sense the movement of the pelvis is what lifts the legs. Keep it feeling along through the spine, the eyes are forward. Exhale. Let's do one more side lift. Lift and then lower, let the feet fully rest down, bending that underneath knee, propping up on the elbow, lift that underneath side of the ribcage, push down through the elbow, stack the hips, kind of check that out. Foot stays at the hip height. Now you're adding the point and flex. Once you've kind of figured all that stability out through the body, so don't worry if that kind of feels too much to think about at this stage. Keep thinking about that rib cage, pushing out through the elbow. And back. If you can go beyond the line here when you're reaching back with that foot without that hip bone rolling forward too much, great. Also, you don't want to be arching into your lower back. If that's happening or there's any discomfort there, make this movement smaller. So we're going to go for 3 and reach. 2, keep lifting up. 1, and then we are going to turn around and face this way. Okay, so a little toe tuck or a little foot stretch here. Now, if this is kind of okay for you, we're going to stay here. If it's not, relax the feet and just come to here. Also, if kneeling is an issue, you can do this in a seated position with the legs crossed. But if you're comfortable here, let's stay here. And we're just going to add a little bit of movement for the arms. So we're going to float them up, reach out to the T, draw it back in, and then reach down. So we'll do this a few times just so we're getting that a little bit longer on the toes. It gives us something to think about while we're doing it. Open and close. And up, out, close, and down. So let's do that 2 more times. You could do any of these with a set of hand weights. I often like to do that just to add a little bit of extra in and down. So now we're going to relax the toes. And we're going to do the same movement, but we're going to add a lift of the pelvis. So as you reach the arms up, you're pressing the pubic bone forward. There's a little tightening in the glutes. We're going to open out. Inhale, expansive. Exhale, close. Inhale, sit back. See if you can make that sit back fairly light on your heels. Out, close, and down. So if you're doing this cross leg, just keep going with the movement pattern of the arms. You would add in your hand weights here so you can still feel like you're getting some challenge. But if you're comfortable kneeling, let's keep this going. And down, up, open, close, a little sit back, maybe just a hover. And you do it without touching your heels. Push up, slight pressing forward of the pubic bone. And we're going to do this 1 more time. And down, and then we're going to lift back up to this high kneel. Keep that slight tuck under the pubic bone. Think of pulling up through the backs of the legs. You're going to lean from your knees without changing the shape of your spine. So wherever you're looking right now, just forward of your hands. As you go into that lean, just keep your eyes gliding upwards as you lean back. So you're not looking to tip the upper spine into extension. We're just trying to keep that long, flat line. And the movement is the stretching of the thigh muscles. Hopefully you can sense that. I can. And then as you come back up, it's work through those thigh muscles to pull yourself back up, but keep drawing in through your center. Let's do 2 more of this thigh stretch. Reach, draw up. Reach, pull up. So here, hands down to the mat. You can separate the knees or keep them together. We're just going to come into rest or child's pose. Get the forehead down, let the pelvis sink towards your feet. And then adjust your arms into whatever position feels most comfortable for you. And we're just going to take 2 breaths here. Feel the lungs, feel the rib cage expanding out, front, sides and back. And then as you exhale, just letting everything sink down into the floor. And I've said 2 breaths, but we're doing more because it feels good. And then just taking your time to come on out of it. Rolling that through. Maybe staying in a seated position. I'm going to come on over to you. And thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did.